This is my 2008 Brute Force 750 that last year, 2023, I built as a budget drag quad. And man, was I happy with it. Went almost undefeated. We went, got a lot of first places at Hellman's. Got first place, actually, at both fairs we went to, which was pretty sick. And just had a good time, right? The quad has bolt-on parts, just an exhaust system, full big gun exhaust system, V-Force John tube, uni air filter, and I think just had two springs, a primary and a secondary spring, and a fresh Kawasaki belt. That's it, power-wise. Now, we did lose a lot of weight. We took basically everything we didn't need on it, we took it off, and that helped drastically. So we were able to do really well last year. But this year, we want to change some things up. Still keeping it very budget friendly, but I want to try some different things. I know a lot of people are probably going to say this is a horrible idea. I don't know. Like, I like trying new things, and this is one of them. Right now, what we're working on is getting actually rid of the four-wheel drive, the front axles, the diff, anything, you know. Anything that doesn't need to be there for the four-wheel drive, we're getting rid of it. So why? Why in the world would I be doing that on a big machine like this? Now, the reason I'm thinking, again, might work, might not, is because when I'm racing it and I launch it, front end's coming off the ground, so I'm using the power for the front wheels are doing nothing. They're just sitting there spinning, not getting any traction. Could I mess with the suspension a little more to keep it so it just squats and goes? Yeah. In some of the races I did do that. Or I can lose the weight, work on the suspension and maybe tire setup in the rear, so it's kind of just gonna hook the same, and then but all the power's going to the rear, none's going to the front, and just be able to go maybe a little bit faster. I don't know, not sure yet. That's what I want to try for the 2024 season, and I have some other ideas too. Have some people hopefully willing to help out, make this thing a little bit faster as well. But as of now, that's what we're looking at. But I did run into a problem when I was ripping the whole front end apart, and I'm going to show you what that is. This thing looks silly, but what we did run into was on these Brutes and Prairies, I think are the same way, is the steering stem right here goes down and mounts. But what it mounts to is the front diff, which, if you're removing the front diff, makes it so you no longer have a mount for the steering. And then obviously that's a huge safety issue. You got to have that. But what in the world are we going to do about that? Luckily for me, my brother is a very good welder and fabricator, so we are going to fab up a mount. And as you can see, from the steering stem goes down to a mount, and then that mount bolts to the front diff. Okay, see that? Being that design actually is kind of nice, because we should be able to remove this, get it out of the way, and then when we make a new bracket, we can just bolt it, as long as you get the measurements right, bolt that to the bracket, and then as long as everything's straight, we will be good to go. So that is what we're gonna have to run into, and hope fab that up. Yeah, good luck, Ryan. To make life easier, we're gonna rip all this plastic off just so we can get down in there. We do need to take the steering stem and lift it up anyways. So we're gonna take all the front plastics off, so there's lots of room, and see what we can get into. Plastics are off, and now you can see the top steering stem mount. So there's two bolts here, 1, 2, and what I want to do is put a mark here, like a white mark, just so I know the height. When we do start working on this and we put it all back together, that should line up nicely. Now here's the top mount again. Being the plastics are out, might be a little easier to see, but here is another part, is the brake line. See, the brake line comes down and mounts to the diff as well. But there is these two mounts, this one, there's one on the other side, that hold the brake lines themselves. I think that will be fine to hold the brake line. If we are off-roading it, driving like hardcore, bouncing down the trails or something, probably not the best bet. But being that we're just going down a straight stretch, I think we'll be perfectly fine on that, in that department. So yeah, now we just got to get Ryan over here, get something fabbed up, and see if we can't get this to work. Quad is coming along just fine. Had to put a new head gasket in it because it was leaking a little bit last year. But here is what we came up with for the steering. Not welded together, just kind of put on there, but looking good. Steering stem is at the same angle it was, same height, but that's kind of what we're looking at here. And we could always build a mount for the brakes if we have to right off of that as well. But yeah, so looking good. Ryan's gonna weld this all up, paint it up, make it look good. And then this quad is gonna be two-wheel drive. Oh wait, there's one more part. Another piece to this puzzle for running two-wheel drive is what are you gonna do with these front axles? Because the axle goes through the knuckle into the hub, you torque it down, keeps everything nice and tight. But you're removing these. So what are you gonna do with them? We could just remove this up here, put this through and torque it down, or a lighter way is to use this. This is out of a Prairie 360 two-wheel drive. Splines are the same. Hoping that's going to work. Looks like it will, so we're going to give it a shot once we get this whole front end back together on this quad. So now it's the moment of truth. We're going to see how much of this, doing this two-wheel drive conversion, how much weight we're going to lose. Now the front axles are 6 pounds each. Front drive shaft is 1 pound 10 ounce. Front diff is 20 pounds 8 ounces. Tires are 5 pounds per side. They are a little bit smaller than what we ran last year, so a little bit of weight savings there. And then we have a random pile of about a pound. Now we do have to add into that math the axle stubs, because we are replacing the axles, but we're putting the stubs in place of those. So those stubs are about a pound each, and then Ryan's steering mount that he built is about 5 pounds. So grand total of weight lost is going to be 38.5 pounds. And that's it, guys. Quad is all back together. We had to make sure the cooling system was bled. That looks good. Oil fresh, top off, no leaks, nothing. Head gasket, fresh head gasket seems to be holding up pretty good. So no worries on that. Suspension. The front end, it's hard to see in there, but yeah, it's dark. Got to get the flashlight on, but seems to be okay. Now, we're going to end this video. I know it's a very long video, but we're going to end it on this note. We are going to take this thing for a test ride because, yeah, we're less than a month away. The first race of the season at Hellman's is going to be, June 2nd? So, yeah, we got to get this thing ripping, testing, make sure everything's good. We got the new clutch in as well from Harvey's ATV Parts, the mother clutcher. So, pretty excited to try that out, see how it works versus what the factory one, the worn out factory one. So, yeah, just trying to get the shots, guys. You know how that is. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to leave them in the comment section below. And as always, God bless.